Relax, you're with us. Cruise Holidays of Viera.
Pull up a deck chair and sit back, relax. It's time for your favorite cruise hour. You're on board, just cruising. Whether you're dreaming of your first cruise or planning your next one, join Larry Jackson as he explores the magical world of cruising. To launch today's cruise, here's Larry Jackson.
Morning, aloha, e como mai, and welcome aboard. I'm Larry Jackson, owner of Cruise Holidays of Viera, and I'll be your cruise director for this week's edition of our radio magazine that's all about the magical world of cruising and travel. Got a great show planned for you this morning. Jill Hanlon from Oceania Cruises will be joining us in our second segment. We finally got to sail with Oceania this last August, and it was magnificent. So I can't wait for you to hear all about what's new and what's going on out at Oceania, because we really want you to get on board. So please stay tuned for that. Well, before we get started with the news of the week, I want to make an announcement about our radio show, Just Cruising. After 10 years on the air, Linda and I have decided to end the Just Cruising AM broadcasts here on WMMB. And our last show that we're going to broadcast here on WMMB will be next Saturday, December 30th. And then after that date, you'll be able to see and hear Just Cruising on YouTube. But we're going to need you to subscribe to be able to do that. And the best way to do that is to go to our website, viera.cruiseholidays.com, and scroll down till you see the red letters that say subscribe. And then you just go and you put in your information on the YouTube channel. Then every time we record a show and we post it up on YouTube, you're going to get an email, and then you can just go and hear Just Cruising. I want to let you know that the decision to end the show after 10 years is Linda and I's decision alone. It was not, we were not influenced or coerced or anything by WMMB staff and management. WMB would love to keep us on the air. They have been very supportive of our show. What can I say? Bill Mick has took a rank amateur and got him up to a speed enough to where we could do the show each week. And I know we have a lot of loyal fans out there who listen to us every week. And we want to say thank you so much for all of the loyalty and the support you've shown us over the last 10 years, not only by listening to the show, but by booking your vacations with Cruise Holidays of Viera and by referring your friends. I just wanted to let you know that Cruise Holidays of Viera is not going anywhere. We're going to continue in business stronger than ever. It's just that we will not be doing the weekly radio show here on WMMB. It will be on YouTube. And I want to thank WMMB for all of the support that they've given us. The staff here has just been fantastic. What can I say? They gave us the very best producer we could have in George Medina. And so we are going to be very sad to be leaving, but we think it's time to move on. And we're going to be moving the show to a different venue. Okay, enough said there, and we hope you'll join us next Saturday for our last show here on WMMB. Now, let's look at the news of the week and what was going on. I guess it was not a good week for Royal Caribbean. We had several bad stories in the news for them. First of all, we had a bunch of folks killed on a excursion in the Yucatan. They were on a excursion to the Mayan ruins. And I guess what this points out, first of all, I want to say the cruise lines are independent vendors, the folks that we use for our shore excursions, such as Shore Excursions Group, Shore Trips, and those folks spend a lot of time and effort vetting the tour operators in these different parts of the world. These are third world destinations still. We're not going to have the same safety factors that we have in the United States with the regulations that we have here for OSHA and the ADA and EPA and all those things that we do here, but they do try to find the very best operators that they can for these shore excursions because their safety, your safety, is foremost in their minds. Accidents do happen, and this accident could have happened anywhere in the United States. It could have happened anywhere in France. Accidents happen. I think it points out the need for having travel insurance that would definitely be of benefit to the folks who are injured and getting them back home again. But all I can say is that the cruise lines do their best to ensure your safety on these excursions, and checking out their operators, making sure that they have adequate equipment. There is work that goes into making that happen. And unfortunately, in this case, there was an accident that caused people to die. The second big news for Royal Caribbean this week was that the Independence of the Seas had an attack of norovirus. They basically had about or a little over 300 passengers that were sickened. I will note that that's a very small percentage of the 5,547 passengers and crew that were on board the ship. And again, norovirus happens, even though we do our best, and Royal Caribbean does a fantastic job of trying to take care of what causes norovirus. And in this case, it got on there, and it got spread, and a lot of people got ill. So I thought it was a great time for us just to really quickly go over what is norovirus and how you can prevent from having it attack you. The best way in Royal Caribbean now has a video that they show you during the lifeboat drill called Washy Washy and wash your hands, and they repeat it over and over again. That is the number one best way to prevent the norovirus. Norovirus is a group of viruses that can affect the stomach and intestines, which then results in gastroenteritis, in an inflammation of the stomach and intestines. It can be spread through contaminated food and water, or spread through physical contact with surfaces, objects, and people. So what the cruise lines do, and it is very resistant to norovirus, is very resistant to almost all of the disinfectants that we currently have. Royal Caribbean is leading the industry in doing research on new disinfectants that hopefully will be more effective in getting rid of the norovirus, but it is a very hard to kill type of a virus. It stays on surfaces for days and days, and so the best way to prevent it is not to come in contact with it. Well, how do you do that? First of all, you wash your hands so that you don't contact the germ and then transmit it to your mouth. You try to avoid surfaces where the virus might be, such as in bathrooms. Again, you can use a towel to open the door when you leave. I personally try not to use the handrails when I'm walking the stairs. I use the stairs most often in the ship. A lot of the cruise lines now on the buffet line the first couple of days, because what happens is the ship is disinfected and cleaned of the norovirus, but somebody brings it on board. And then when they bring it on board, it usually is most effective or transmits most effectively in the first couple of days of the cruise. So a lot of the cruise lines now are serving you in the buffet line instead of letting you touch the utensils and serve yourself. We were just on Oceania Cruise Lines a few weeks ago. They have a policy of no handshaking. They fist bump. So, I always forget, and I try to shake the crew members' hands, but then they'll put out their fist and give you a fist bump. So that's another way to prevent it. If you do get sick from it, they suggest you go to the infirmary, where they will have some anti-nausea and anti-diarrhea medication. It's generally over-the-counter medication. You have to realize that you have the possibility that you might be quarantined in your cabin, and they'll bring you food and things like that depending on how severe the norovirus outbreak is. So it happens everywhere. CDC estimated that last year 22 million people in the United States had an attack of norovirus. The reason you hear about it on cruise ships more than other places, by the way, out of that 20 million people that suffered from norovirus, only 1% of that happened on cruise ships. But you hear about it on cruise ships more often because they are required to report it to the CDC. And it happens everywhere. It happens at resorts. It happens in nursing homes. It happens in hospitals. But it gets the most attention on cruise lines. So, again, the best way, wash your hands. Try to avoid touching surfaces that other passengers have touched. And try not shaking hands with other folks on the cruise line. Well, we are at our first time out of the day. We're going to run ashore and check out what's going on in the shore excursion department. Please stay with us, because when we come back, Jill Hanlon from Oceania Cruises is going to be on board with us, and I think you'll really enjoy listening to her. So we'll see you in just a moment.
Don't miss out on the show. Listen to Just Cruisin' on our iHeartRadio channel with the iHeartRadio app.
And welcome back, everybody. We're so glad you can be with us this Saturday morning. And we're very happy to have with us on the line, on board with us, Jill Hanlon from Oceania Cruises. Good morning, Jill. Can you hear us okay?
Can hear you fine.
Okay, great. We are terrific. Thanks for your patience this morning. We had a few technical difficulties, but we're glad to have you with us.
Not a problem. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you because we finally got to sail on Oceania last August on the Insignia over to Bermuda, and everything you said about the cruise line was correct.
Oh, fabulous, fabulous. I'm glad you enjoyed the trip. And got to experience it firsthand.
Yeah,
finally.
Finally, after 14 years, we got to go on Oceania. And Jill, I have to tell you, you talk about Oceania being the cruise line for foodies. It's the cruise line for anybody who enjoys food. It was phenomenal. I just can't say enough about it.
Awesome, and you got to experience each of the dining venues, I hope.
Twice.
Oh, good.
And it was fabulous every night. But on the menu in dinner, there was something every night that I absolutely fell in love with, and that was Jacques Papin's specialty of the night.
Ah, okay.
And he had a recipe on there for steak au poivre. It was probably the very best steak I have ever had in my life. It was an incredible sauce for that. I'm just amazed. So.
Nice. I'll have to remember that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had that dish.
Yeah. I'm surprised as many times as you cruise. So.
Yeah.
Jill,
Good.
Jill, let's do a very thumbnail sketch of Oceania Cruise Lines for our folks that don't recall or haven't heard us talk about you guys before.
Sure. Well, we are considered an upper premium cruise line, so a step up from your premium lines, but yet not all-inclusive, just semi-inclusive, so we're not considered luxury, although we have a lot of elements of luxury on board, as you've experienced. Smaller ships, so 4 of our ships are only 684 guests, and 2 of our ships are 1,250, so you are not going to be on with thousands of people. It is a much quieter and more intimate experience, and of course, with that type of ship, we are able to get into unique ports of call, so we're very much port intensive, wonderful different itineraries. If you're, places that you haven't been before, Oceania can get you there. And, of course, as you mentioned, the foodie cruise line for sure. We are definitely top-rated in the culinary realm, and no one really comes close to what we can do in that area.
I agree. And the staff, unbelievable. Your crews are just incredible. I can tell they're well taken care of because it's a happy crew makes for a happy ship and happy passengers, and your crews are very happy.
Well, you got that right. And we, a lot of our crew members have been with us since day one. So it is definitely a family environment on board our ships.
Oh, absolutely. The lady at the main dining room, the first night we checked in, she knew every passenger's name the second night. It was.
I know. I don't know how they do that.
It's phenomenal. So anyway, listen. I want to talk about some of the things that make Oceania unique. And first of all, the inclusion of airfare in your cruise fares. Right.
Yeah. So with our Olife package, we include the round-trip airfare from any major gateway, and that's throughout the U.S. and Canada. So those of us here in Florida, that would be Orlando, Tampa, Miami. If you don't need our air, we will give an air allowance, so you'll get a discount off of the package price if you don't need the air, but it's a real value in getting the package. And then with the Olife Choice promotion, we also include your Wi-Fi, and you get a choice between either the beer and wine beverage package, shipboard credits, or shore excursions, a certain number of shore excursions. So we are semi-inclusive with that package, and that's been an ongoing promotion for us, and it will go into next year as well.
And there's a special promotion. Is the Travel Leaders promotion still going on?
Yes. So through you, exclusively, because you are part of Travel Leaders, any of your clients that book through you have an opportunity to take advantage of about 50-plus sailings where we're giving prepaid gratuities as well. So that's another advantage that you wouldn't get if you didn't use your agency. So that's an advantage for your clients exclusively.
And I want to tell people that I get questions. Okay, they're giving me the air's included, but it's probably really lousy flights with a lot of stops. And I have to tell you, we have worked with the air department at Oceania for many years, and they strive and they do a great job of making sure you have the most direct flights with the best connections. And it's not, they're not doing it on the cheap, so people don't need to worry about if you get air through Oceania that it's not going to be top quality.
Yeah, very good point. And the other thing that they can do as an option is do custom air. So
Yes.
they would pay a fee to pick and choose what flights they want to have. So we can work on a custom level and to customize the air as well.
Yeah,
So
we've had people go in like 20 days beforehand into England and catch the ship, and they could still use Oceania's air. So
Right.
And by the way, if you're just joining us here on Just Cruising, Jill Hanlon is on the line from Oceania Cruises, and we're talking about some of the things that are going on with Oceania. Jill, I want to talk about Alaska. Very hot place to go next year, and you guys got some new things going on up in Alaska.
We do. I mean, we've been going to Alaska for a good number of years now, and we have added recently, in the past couple of years, a couple of options, which are beautiful options, which you absolutely need to do if you're going to do Alaska. One is our Discover Denali tour, and it's a 4-day, 3-night tour up into Denali National Park. It includes, breakfast. It includes all your transportation, your motor coach, your ticket into Denali National Park. It's a really unique tour that, anybody going to Alaska really should take advantage of getting up into Denali, into the interior part of Alaska to see a lot of the wildlife and just really experience that. So that is available as a pre-cruise tour only, so they have to do it before the cruise, which actually makes a lot of sense because you do all that touring around and then you're on the ship relaxing. And then we also have, we've partnered with gosh, I'm losing
Rocky
my...
Mountaineer.
Thank you.
No problem.
With Rocky
I've got a
Mountaineer.
cheat sheet here, so that was easy.
So we've partnered with them for the last couple of years and have a fantastic rail tour as well that they can take advantage of. And just beautiful, high levels of service. It's the Gold Leaf service that we use, and Rocky Mountaineer just does a fantastic job. So 2 options for those guests that are taking Oceania to Alaska that really will add to the experience quite dramatically.
And I also want to point out that your Alaska cruises are unique for a couple of reasons. One, you go to Wrangell, which a lot of the cruise lines don't go to, and you also go to Sitka that only a few cruise lines go to. And I think Sitka may be the most original, authentic Alaskan port there is. So it's a very small town, but it is beautiful. It's kind of an untouched type of an Alaska town.
It is, and with our ship that we use the Regatta for Alaska, and she is one of the smaller ships, 684 guests, so we're really not inundating these little towns when we come in, and you can still get that local feel, if you will, because it's not thousands of people descending upon them all at once. So.
That's true, and also you're able to dock there instead of having to tender, and that's a big one too. So that's a big, big plus.
Good point.
So,
yeah.
And when we talk about small ships, we were lucky when we went to Bermuda because we got to dock at St. George's, and because we were on one of the smaller ships, this is just an indication of the small ships allow you to go to other places where everybody else was over in Hamilton or over at the docks at the wharf. So, and I want to tell you, going in that channel, there was maybe a foot clearance on either side of the ship when we went through the...
Really?
And Jill, this guy walks out in 17th century clothing and fires a cannon to welcome us to St. George's. That was,
oh, wow.
That was really cool. I've got a video of it. The next time in your office, I'll show it to you. So
that's neat. Cool.
Jill, some other things that are going on with Oceania now. The new itineraries are out through how long?
Actually, through part of 2019. So we recently, as of October, we opened up our Europe for 2019 and what we call the Americas, which is basically Alaska, as well as Caribbean itineraries, including Cuba. So we've got inventory open through 2019 right now. So, and we're finding that more and more. Actually, last year the trend started to happen where guests are starting to book a lot further out.
Yes,
which is good news because everybody gets what they want. First of all, as far as the cabin selection, and it's a trend that's happening that we like because we know we're filling our ships and people are getting what they want and they're booking out earlier. So it's with the new collection, we're also doing 50% deposits, and that's through March of this year.
Okay, wow, that's great. I hadn't realized that. 50% deposits, that's great.
Yes, yeah.
Jill, we got about a minute left. Real quickly, you guys are going to Cuba, and you're doing it a little bit different than the other cruise lines.
We do. We actually hit 3 ports in Cuba with a lot of our itineraries, and we mix it in with Caribbean stops as well. So we're hitting Santiago de Cuba. We're hitting the main port, and you caught me off guard
in
here.
Havana.
Havana, thank you. And one other port in Cuba. So it's pretty Cuba intense. Of course, we take care of the visas for everybody, and it's the best way, I think, to go to Cuba because you have the luxury of the ship to come home to, and you get to see the authentic Cuba in its, in the real setting and tour around. It's just been a real hit, so a lot of folks are taking advantage of it. Yeah.
Well, Jill, unfortunately, we've come to another timeout. Thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to having you on again, and thanks so much.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you. And for you
Happy
listening,
holidays.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. And for all of you listening to us, please stay tuned. We'll be right back right after this short break.
Good to have you with us on Just Cruisin'. Contact Larry on his website at viera.cruiseholidays.com.
And welcome back, everybody. And I hope you enjoyed listening to Jill and Oceania Cruises. What a fabulous cruise line. If you haven't tried it, let's do it. They have a repeat rate of something like 95%. That is 95% of the folks that go on them one time come back again. I'd have to say our repeat rate at Cruise Holidays of Viera is probably around 99%. We have phenomenal, people just love the cruise line once they go on it, so try it. Just a reminder, in case you missed our first segment, we did announce that Just Cruisin' will be ending its broadcasts here on WMMB on AM radio effective. We have one more show. That's next Saturday, December 30th. And after that date, the show will be heard on YouTube and seen on YouTube. We will be broadcasting there. And also our podcast. We will podcast the show from the YouTube channel, and it will be available to you on our webpage, which is viera.cruiseholidays.com. Again, this is a decision that Linda and I made, Linda being my lovely and gracious wife and the co-owner of Cruise Holidays of Viera. It's a decision we made that we felt like after 10 years on the radio, it was time for us to move on to other venues, and purely voluntary on our part. WMB, again, has been phenomenal and just very supportive of us, and we know that they would like the show to continue, but we feel like it's time to end it. So December 30th will be our last show on AM for WMB for Just Cruisin'. So we invite you to join us. Linda will be on that show, too, so we'll have a few surprises for you on our last show of Just Cruisin'. Well, let's turn our attention to the news of the week and what was going on. This is an interesting story, and I don't know really how to take this. Viking River Cruises and Ocean Cruises has been making noise over the last few years that they'd like to get into the American river market. As you've heard us mention many times here on Just Cruising, we think that cruising in America is an overlooked, wonderful way to see this magnificent country, and we're trying to get more and more people to consider taking cruises on our American rivers. We currently have two major cruise lines that are plying the rivers and the coastlines of America, and that's American Cruise Line and American Queen Steamboat Company, and those are the two major players. Viking has been making noise about getting into this market. And then this week there was a article from one of our travel magazines that said 2 Mississippi River communities received statements in the past few weeks from Viking saying that talks about building here, that being the United States, have broken off. To quote, it says, Viking has terminated current discussions to build vessels in a U.S. shipyard for Mississippi River and U.S. coastal cruising. As details were being refined, it became apparent that the economics did not meet Viking's goals. And that was a statement made to a couple of river towns up on the Ohio River, Hannibal, Missouri, and Fort Madison, Iowa. A Viking representative would say, only at this point we do not have any additional details to share, but we continue to work on the Mississippi project. So I guess that means it's all on hold for Viking getting into this market. I don't know if there's not the demand that they thought there was going to be, or if American Cruise Lines and American Queen Steamboat are able to undercut what they thought the price point was going to be. So what they were planning to do was to build 300 passenger vessels costing between $90 and $100 million. Now, this is what's also interesting. The Port of New Orleans said that they're in contact with Viking Cruises, and the company continues to work on creating its first North American home port in New Orleans, which is a logical home port for it. So we'll see what happens with Viking, but we do encourage you to get out and cruise the American rivers. And a great way to do that is to call us at Cruise Holidays of Viera at 321-242-1331. Visit us on our website, viera.cruiseholidays.com. And when you go to our website, if you'll scroll down, you'll see a red button there that says subscribe. That's going to allow you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to hear the broadcast of Just Cruising that we'll be doing continuing on into the new year of 2018. And once you subscribe and you're subscribed to our channel, then whenever we do a program, it's going to be an email will be sent to you, and then you can go and listen or watch our program on there. And we'll be doing some new things on YouTube also, in addition to just doing the radio show. All right. This is now in May of 2019. We're going to be getting a new ship here at Port Canaveral, and it's called Harmony of the Seas, and she is of the Oasis class. She's the sister ship of the Allure and Oasis of the Seas that's here currently. And I found a little article about some of the things that are unique about the Harmony of the Seas. Everybody said, well, it's just a replacement. It's just another Oasis. And it's not. There are a lot of things that are different about the Harmony. So as we find these things, I'm going to tell you about them, because she is going to be our new ship here at Port Canaveral. The Harmony of the Seas was the first Royal Caribbean ship built with water slides in its design. And it basically, they put it, it's not like they added the slides onto the back end of the ship. They designed the ship to have the water slides incorporated with it. The name of the water slides are called the Perfect Storm, and it also, that means it is the tallest slide at sea. It has a 100-foot drop. That's a 10-story drop. Think about that. I love this article. It says, so you can ride down multiple decks of the ship. I don't think this is going to replace the elevators, though. So the attraction is designed to thrill guests while maintaining a sense of heart-pumping anticipation, I'm sure. The ultimate abyss towers 150 feet above sea level in the aft of the Harmony of the Seas and offers a 100-foot drop. And that's part of the abyss is part of the Perfect Storm water slides that you will see on the Harmony. Okay, the other thing, the Harmony of the Seas is going to has Royal Caribbean's first original musical production. The name of the production is Columbus the Musical. It is a Royal Caribbean original production that tells the tale of Christopher Columbus's luckless distant cousin Marvin, on a madcap voyage to the Caribbean. The musical was created in the spirit of Spamalot and Something Rotten. And if it's half as good as Spamalot, it's going to be really funny. The story is fun, the cast energetic, and the music perfect to sing along with. So let's look forward to welcoming that production when we get the Harmony of the Seas here. They have added a restaurant on the Harmony of the Seas called the Wonderland Restaurant. Now, this restaurant was first rolled out and became very popular on the Quantum of the Seas, and it is designed after Alice in Wonderland. So the dishes are whimsical with different titles. The chairs are different. Some of the chairs are very large, some are very small, like when Alice was big and Alice was small in Alice in Wonderland. Now, where they have put this restaurant is very interesting. They put it where Dazzles is on Oceania. On Oasis of the Seas. So that is the 2-story nightclub in the middle of the ship on the 8th deck. And that is now where Wonderland is. So Wonderland is a 2-story restaurant right there in the middle. Another unique thing about the Harmony Seas, there is no pool in the solarium. And those of you who have been on the Oasis and the Allure know that they're not very big. Maybe 6, 8 people can sit in them, and they're not very deep, maybe 2 or 3 feet. They're really whirlpools on the solarium area, which is in the forward part of the ship. It's a glass and open air area, adults only. During the daytime, you must be 18 years or older to go in there. It's a wonderful spot. It's one of my favorite parts of the Oasis class ships. And I always laugh because when Royal Caribbean decided to put lifeguards on their ship, on their pools, on their ships, I wondered if they were going to do that in the solarium, and sure enough, they did. There are folks walking around. If you drown in that pool, you are really working hard to drown. But anyway, no pools on the solarium. What they have done instead is put a walk-through mister intended to cool off guests. Also, I think that's going to give them more room for chase lounges up there, so you'll have a little bit better access to the solarium. Let's see, what other unique things about the Harmony? Really, the only other thing is their art collection is 3,000 pieces and is centered around the wonder of our world, the world we live in. And it has artists from 60 countries. So, well, if you're just joining us, you're on board Just Cruising, and the show is being brought to you by Cruise Holidays of Viera, and we are your boutique vacation planning store located in the Suntree area. We're at the corner of Wickham Road and Suntree Boulevard, and that's the little road that you take between US 1 and Wickham Road, especially those of you coming off the Piney Causeway from the beach side. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, and we would like to be your vacation planning store. And by the way, I have an article about families that don't use travel agents, and only 25% of families use a travel agent. And when asked people who don't use travel agencies to rate them, travel agencies got a C+ from those families. Now, families who used a travel agent to help plan their vacations got a B, gave us a B+. So that's it's just a matter of using us, and then you'll learn to love us. And so we invite you to give Cruise Holidays of Viera a try. Well, the band is here, and we're at our last shore call of the day. And when we come back, we'll have our last segment of Just Cruising, and we'll be talking some more about the world of cruising. And I've got some specials, some escorted group cruises that we're going to be doing. So please join us.
Coming back into port, it's Just Cruising on 1240 and 1350 WMMB.
And we are back in port and back with you. And we want to welcome you, and thanks so much for being with us this Saturday morning. Once again, we did announce in our previous segments, in case you missed it, we will be ending our AM radio broadcast of Just Cruising. Effective, our last show will be next Saturday, December 30th. And after that, you'll be able to find us on YouTube every week. We'll be posting up our shows there, and you'll be able to watch us and listen to us. So we hope you'll join us there. And in order to subscribe to our YouTube channel, we ask that you go to our webpage, which is viera.cruiseholidays.com, and scroll down to where you see the red letters there that say subscribe. And when you get there, just click on it. It'll take you to our YouTube channel. And then when we do a show, it'll send you an email, and you'll know we put a show up out there. Well, let's talk about some specials that are going on at Cruise Holidays of Viera. First of all, Celebrity Cruise Lines announced a new promotion that they're just starting this week. And what it is they are offering you 2 perks when you book their cruises, and you get your choice of the following 4 items. You get to choose 2 of the following 4 items. One is a classic beverage package, and the classic beverage package basically allows you to drink anything on the ship, including wines by the glass, beer, cocktails, that cost less than basically $8. It also provides for bottled water, specialty coffees, fresh squeezed orange juice, smoothies, all kinds of other non-alcoholic type things. So that's a great deal. That's normally with the gratuities included on that beverage package cost about $65 per person per day. So on a 10-day cruise, that's a significant savings for you. You can also choose from free gratuities while you're on board your cruise, and that's normally $14 per person per day. Or you can choose $150 per person on board credit, or you can choose unlimited Wi-Fi. So those 4 perks, of those 4 perks, you can choose 2 of them during the current promotion that Celebrity is featuring. Now, the way to understand all these specials is to call us at Cruise Holidays of Viera at 321-242-1331. We'll make sure that if you are that we have compared the pricing on a promotion to go along with the pricing on that you may be entitled to on a discount, because you cannot automatically always take the discount and assume it's going to be combinable with the promotion. Sometimes, and this is where we come in to cut through the clutter of that to make sure that you're getting the best pricing. And by the way, we provide all of our services at no additional price or no additional charge to what you would pay if you go directly with the cruise line if you call them up on their 800 number. But we can save you significant amounts of money by comparing the promotions, making sure with the discounts, and making sure everything gets you the very best price. Another offer that we received from AMA Waterways. Now, this is a very short-fused offer. Now, we will be in the office next week. We're coming back on the 27th of December. We'll be in through Friday of next week. This offer expires on December 31st if you'd like to take advantage of it. AMA Waterways is offering free airfare for their 16-day cruise and land journey to Vietnam and Cambodia on the exotic Mekong River. So if you would like to this, and that's significant cost of that airfare. You'll be flying to Hanoi and home from Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City. It's for cruises leaving on August 4th, the 18th, September 1st, and the 15th. But you must book and deposit your AMA Mekong River cruise before December 31st. All right, and we will be available for you at Cruise Holidays of Viera at 321-242-1331 if you're going to want to book this cruise tour. We took it last year, and it was magnificent. It's one of the best cruises we have ever taken. It's one of the most fascinating parts of the world, so I encourage you to do that. Also, I want to tell you about a special cruise that's coming up in December of 2018, December 16th through the 23rd, and it will be the inaugural cruise of the Edge. And that's Celebrity Cruise Line's new ship. It's going to be a fantastic technological feat, featuring things like the disappearing balcony wall. That's the best way I can put it. And if you want to see more about this, go to our webpage at viera.cruiseholidays.com. There's 2 videos there. If you'll click where it says Celebrity Edge Inaugural, and there are 2 videos there that tell you all about the ship and show you all the new magnificent technological things that are going to be aboard the ship. We are featuring a package for you. We will have a bus leaving from our offices here in Melbourne going down to Fort Lauderdale round trip. We're including the gratuities, and we're including travel guard insurance, all available to you for the price of $2,750 per person in a Celebrity Category Edge 1 stateroom. And if you want to know what a Category Edge 1 stateroom is, go to the website viera.cruiseholidays.com. You can even register for the cruise there, and we would love to have you join us. We've got a whole bunch of people on board with us, and Linda and I will be sailing on that, so we hope you'll join us for that. And last but not least, in May of 2019, the Harmony of the Seas is coming to replace the Oasis of the Seas, and we have some groups that we have reserved on that ship for her inaugural run from here at Port Canaveral. One of the interesting ones that we've put together is a 10-day cruise, which will go from May 9th to May 19th, 2019, and it combines the 3 and the 7-day inaugural cruises from here at Port Canaveral. So you can go to the Bahamas, stay on the ship, and then go out to the Western Caribbean. Again, all of this information is on our website at viera.cruiseholidays.com. And I tell you, that AMA cruise to Cambodia and Vietnam, that is an experience you will remember your entire life. And getting the free air, now the air is out of Miami. I'm sorry, it's not Orlando. You have to drive down to Miami for the free air, or you can take a very cheap flight down to Miami for that, or we have bus services that go down to Miami. So all of those are available for you. All right. Give us a call at Cruise Holidays of Viera and let us make sure you have a great vacation. Well, we've come to the end of another episode of Just Cruising. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had a great time being here with you, and we hope you'll come back next Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Join us again when we'll be here on 1240 or 1350. Join us on iHeartRadio, no matter where you are in the world, and we'll be there with you. And until we see you again, keep on cruising. Jackson of Just Cruising. Hope you're enjoying Just Cruising here on YouTube. If you'd like to keep up to date on all the videos that we'll be producing here in the near future, all you have to do is click the subscribe button just below my picture here, or you can click right over here for a list of the latest videos. Either way, we look forward to seeing you again. Until we do, keep on cruising.